Hello, Rhonda here with a Yoga Pilates practice for dancers. After teaching several years of dance fitness and experiencing a few aches and pains here and there, I figured I would put together a class that would help strengthen the core, the hips, and help with balance. So here's a Pilates Yoga Fusion workout. All you'll need is your mat. Let's get started. We're going to start right into our warm-up, the 100. So let's go ahead and roll on down. You're going to bring your legs in either in tabletop position, or you can straighten out those legs. Use those upper abs to help you lift, and then start pumping the arms. Inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, keep those arms strong, and exhale. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and exhale. Couple more rounds. Inhale, exhale. Inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. Nice. Let's go ahead and lower those legs. We're going to go right and then into the Pilates roll up. Reach those arms overhead. Big inhale. Exhale. Scoop the belly in as you reach for the feet and articulate your roll down. Big inhale as the head lands. Exhale, roll on up. Just 2 more. Last one. Roll down one bone at a time. And then let's bring our hands down by our side. Bend the knees, bring both feet flat onto the mat. And we're going to come into our articulating bridge. Tilt the pelvis toward you. Lift the hips, the lower spine, mid spine, upper spine. Big sip of air at the top. And then exhale. Drop the sternum down first and roll down bone by bone. Let's do this 3 more times. Tilting first. And then roll down upper, mid, lower, the tailbone, land last. This exercise opens the hip flexors and strengthens the hamstrings. 1 more. This time holding it at the top. You're going to interlace your grip underneath your torso, bringing the shoulder blades together. Let's hold for about 4 breaths here. And release that grip. Roll those hips back down onto the mat. You're going to reach the right leg up towards the ceiling with the 2 peace fingers. Grab on to that big toe. You're going to inhale, exhale to lift the head up and stretch the leg long for lying head to knee. Maybe with each breath, drawing it in a little closer towards your nose. 2 more breaths here. And release. Right foot flat on the mat. Reach the left leg up towards the ceiling. 2 peace fingers. Grab onto that big toe. Lift the head. Draw the knee towards the nose. Nose towards the knee. Stretch that right leg long onto the mat. Hold for 2 more breaths here. This pose stretches the hamstrings and the glutes. And stretch that left leg long onto the mat. Flex the left foot, anchor that left hip, point the toes of the right foot. We're gonna come into our single leg circles. Reach that right leg up towards the ceiling. That's your 12 o'clock, crossing the midline of the body, down, up, around, and stop. Three more in this direction. And let's reverse clockwise, starting at 12, little pause at 12. 3, 2, and 1. Let's stretch that right leg long onto the mat. Flex the right foot, anchor that right hip. Point the toes of the left foot, draw it in and up towards the ceiling. Crossing the body first, moving that leg clockwise, starting at 12, little pause at 12, 3 more, and let's move in reverse, out to the side, down, up, around, and stop. Last 3, 2, and 1. All right, go ahead and stretch both legs long onto your mat. Come into another roll up. Big inhale, exhale, roll on up. With those two peace fingers, now grab onto those 2 big toes. Seated forward fold stretches out the hamstrings as well as relieves lower back pain. Now moving into a rolling like a ball, hands at the shins, looking at the tops of your thighs, scoop the belly in, roll on back, come back to that balance point, inhale, exhale, roll on back, 3 more. This exercise helps it develop coordination, balance, and core control. It increases the flexibility and articulation of the spine. Last one. Hold at the top for boat pose. Balancing on those sit bones, keep that spine long, chest lifted. Your choice to keep the knees bent, or you can straighten the legs. This pose helps prevent injury by strengthening the abs and hip flexors. Couple more breaths. We're going to hold on to the right leg. With control, scoop the belly in and roll on down. Single straight leg stretch. Stretching one leg in, 2 little pulses, alternating right, left, right, left. This Pilates exercise develops pelvic stability and core control. It increases the flexibility of the hamstrings as well. Last 2. Let's keep both legs up, hands behind your head, elbows wide. Coming into a double straight leg stretch. This Pilates exercise also strengthens the abs and hip flexors. Nice. Let's roll up to seated. We scoop back a little bit and then sit up nice and tall. Bring your fingertips right by your glutes. Lift those hips up into an inclined plank position. Let's hold for 4 breaths here. This pose opens up the chest, strengthens the arms and wrists, and stretches the ankles. And slowly land your hips onto the mat. We're going to make our way onto all 4s. Align wrist with elbow and shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Let's flex the spine in a couple of cat-cows. Drawing the navel in as we flex. Inhale into extension. This pose increases spinal mobility and flexibility. Let's bring the spine back to neutral, shift the hips towards the heels, and an extended child's pose. Let's hold for 3 breaths here. Come back to all fours, roll the toes under, hover the knees off the mat, lift the hips up into a downward facing dog, pedal those heels right and left, right and left. To warm up the backs of the legs, now go ahead and press both heels towards your mat, pressing firmly through the palms of the hands and the pads of the fingers. Get some nice lengthen through the spine. And then on the next inhale, we're going to reach that right leg high to the sky. Bend the knee, open up that hip, look underneath that right bicep. Let's warm up that hip by circling that knee in one direction. And let's reverse the direction. Let's re-square our hips. Working on our core strength here. Take an inhale, exhale, draw the knee in. And then inhale to extend up towards the sky. Knee comes in. And extend. 2 more. Hold it here. You're going to bring that right leg at the top of your mat for Pigeon. Opening up the hips. Let's hold for about 3 breaths here. And then come back to that downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and lift that left leg high to the sky. Bend the knee. Let's warm up the hip. Make a circle with that knee in one direction. And then reverse the direction. Square off those hips. Working that core. Draw the knee in towards the nose. And extend. Inhale to extend. Exhale to draw it in. One more time. Hold it here in your 3-legged dog. And then you're going to swing that leg at the top of your mat for Pigeon pose on the other side to open up that hip. Let's hold for about 3 more breaths here. And let's just go ahead and bring that left knee to meet the right knee. Interlace your grip, sides of the forearms on the mat, roll the toes under, and then lift the hips up in Dolphin Pose. This pose is good for developing upper body strength. Having a strong chest and back will ensure that you can hold your upper body and arms in perfect positions. And let's slowly lower. Let's make our way into a side lying position. All right, let's make our way into a side lying position. Hip stack, shoulder stack. Hover that top leg, starting with leg kicks. Keep that whole leg parallel to the ground. Sweep the foot forward and back with that nice long leg. Try to keep your upper body stable as you're moving the leg. Last 3, 2, and 1. All right, now moving into leg lowers. Lifting and lowering that top leg with control. Working those outer thigh muscles, your abductor muscles. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and bend the knees, align the heels with the glutes, and then come into clams. Keeping the heels connected as you open and close at the knees. Three more. All right, let's go ahead and straighten those legs. Now coming into a side plank. So lifting those hips up. Option to reach the arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe even lift the top leg. Or not. Couple more breaths. Nice. Let's come into a seated wide stance. Sit up nice and tall. Reach the arms up, out, forward and down. Just relax the head and the neck. Once your hands have reached the floor, maybe with each inhale and exhale, drawing your nose a little closer towards your mat. Couple more breaths. And slowly come on up. Let's bring the legs up and over to the other side. Aligning the hips and shoulders. Cover that top leg for those leg kicks. This Pilates exercise strengthens the muscles of the lower leg and develops torso stability. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Into those leg lowers, lifting and lowering that top leg. These side leg lifts strengthen the outer thighs and develop stability of the torso and pelvis in a side lying position. 2 more. All right. Get ready for those clams. Bend the knees. Align the heels with the glutes. Keep the heels connected as you open and close at the knees. Moving through those hip rotators, lubricating that joint. 5 more. All right, straighten out those legs. Moving in back into our side plank. Lifting those hips up. Maybe the hands come on the hip. Maybe the hand reaches up towards the sky. Maybe even lift that top leg. Three more breaths. And go ahead and lower. Back to that seated position with the legs together. Reach the both arms up, out, forward, and down. Let's give it a nice little stretch here. Roll on up. Let's make our way up to standing. Starting off our standing poses with chair pose, go ahead and bring the feet about sits bone distance apart or narrower, coming into chair pose. Sitting down in your seat, reaching those arms up and out, strengthening those back extensors, working on your balance. Keep the core engaged. You can hold for about 3 more breaths here. And let's go ahead and lift the standing. Come into a wide stance with the toes slightly externally rotated, moving into goddess pose. Bring the arms out to the side, thumb and forefinger together, and then go ahead and come into your seat. The spine is long, the chest is lifted, and hold. And let's go ahead and extend those arms. And we're going to tilt. Tilt over to one side. Inhale, center. Tilt over to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, tilt over. Inhale. Exhale, tilt. One more in each direction. Back to goddess pose. Extend those legs. Let's go ahead and bring the palms facing out, preparing for triangle. So we're going to turn the toes of the right foot in at a 45-degree angle. The left toes are pointed forward, shifting forward through the waist, and totter those arms in triangle. Try to keep the legs straight, the arms in one straight line. 2 more breaths here. We're going to bring that right hand to meet the left hand. We're going to pivot to make our way into a lunge position, fingertips on the ground. We're going to lift the right leg up into 3-point balance, and then transition into half moon pose. Opening up through that right hip, placing the hand on the hip, maybe even reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Working on your obliques, your core, and balance. And let's slowly bring all limbs onto the mat. Inhale to sweep both arms up. Take another wide step. I'm going to do that same sequence on the other side. Palms facing out. Now turning the left toes forward. The right toes are pointed towards the other side of the room. Moving into triangle. Tilting. And getting those arms in one straight line. Keep it nice and open through the front of the body. 2 more breaths here. And go ahead and bring that left hand to meet the right hand. You're going to pivot that left foot so that the heel is up towards the ceiling. Bend the right knee. Walk the hands forward in front of that foot, bringing all your weight onto that foot into 3-point balance. And then transitioning into half moon on the other side. Reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Let's hold for 3 more breaths here. All limbs onto the mat. Inhale to sweep both arms up. Let's bring it back to center. And let's finish off with a balance pose, bow pose. So let's go ahead and bring the right hand out to the side, grab onto the inside of the right ankle, square off those hips, planting that left foot, all 4 corners onto your mat, reach the left fingertips up towards the sky, find your focal point in front of you, and then slowly tilt forward. Keeping that focus. Also called Lord of the Dance, this posture improves balance and concentration, works the body in many ways, stretches the quads, opens the chest, and strengthens the legs. Slowly come out of it. Shake it out a little bit. Now moving into bow pose on the other side. Go ahead and bring your left hand out to the side. Grab onto your ankle from the inside. Square off those hips. Reach that right arm up towards the sky. Find your focal point And then pull on that ankle as you reach up, out, and forward with that right hand. Whew, I need work on that one. All right, go ahead and shake it on out. Let's take a few breaths here in standing Tadasana. Inhale to reach both arms up, palms together, hands to heart. 2 more times. Namaste. Have a great day.